Welcome back to another episode of Simple Chat. I'm your host, CEO and founder of Simple Lending Financial, Janine Cassio. And today we have a very special guest with us, Michael Tedesco.
Janine, thank you for having me.
Thank you for
Always
coming.
So great to see you and your team.
Thank you. Yeah, so Mike is the CEO and founder of Appraisal Nation, and he's also my mentor through the National Private Lenders Association from the past 12 months, and it has just been an awesome experience, and really just want to, dive into Mike's story. So, Mike, how did you create Appraisal Nation?
Well, I could roll back to when I was a young bank manager. And I had a person come in and they offered me a position to come and be work in appraisal management. And I started that and I looked at their model and I realized that I could do it better. And I always had that entrepreneurial spirit and I took the reins and I started building that. But the reality was in that process, there was a gentleman who didn't fulfill the obligations of his contract with me. And I said, if you don't honor that contract, I'll walk out and I'll start my own company tomorrow. And that's what happened. And out of pure spite, I built Appraisal Nation. So it's not I love to win. And I spent the next 18 years putting a boot on them.
And as you know, I'm only 2 years into my company, and Appraisal Nation is what, 18 years?
18 years now.
It requires so much discipline and consistency and persistence. Like, what is your big why and what keeps you motivated? Maybe it's the spite, but what else keeps you motivated to go each day and put all your energy in?
I have always had a big win philosophy, and I've always had a wake up drive to always just be better. And I've always wanted to win no matter what it was. Very competitive. I played baseball. I wrestled. I was always very competitive. And that's carried over into my work life. And I think you need to have a little bit of that ambition. I know that you can be competitive also, and you like that win.
Yes.
So that's really kept me very motivated and driven. The relationships that I've got to build over the last 18 years has really been the most beautiful part of what we've created. And that's probably keeps me driven now.
I love that. And, we had our mentorship meeting earlier today, and we kind of talked about having that growth mindset and unlocking those levels as you grow your business. And it's awesome. Appraisal Nation is one of the biggest companies, if not the biggest, doing appraisals nationwide. And
we are the 5th largest private lending AMC in America today.
We also had a little reflection moment earlier. And if I could ask you, really, if you were to go back and talk to yourself from 10 years ago, what is the one piece of advice you'd really leave there?
One thing I said to you in our mentor-mentee conversation was that I wish I could have went back earlier and chose a mentor. One of the issues that I have being so competitive, I also have that I can do this on my own. I don't need anybody attitude. And I think that really hindered my growth for probably my first 10 years. And it wasn't until there were 2 huge factors that were a big impact. One was learning that I needed someone, their help and guidance. And the other was learning to let go. Because I tried to do everything myself, I could never fulfill the potential of what Appraisal Nation could be. And it wasn't until I started accepting that other people could do what I could do also, and allowing that and opening up and giving those positions, that it really created the growth that Appraisal Nation is now.
Letting go is something I practice through, the tool of doing yoga, and the best advice. And I align with that a lot, for sure. And what would you say, have you read any books, or have you had any mentors, or is there any other tips or tricks you would,
So if you're in this space and if you're familiar with Eddie Wilson, who owns the AAPL, I depend on his knowledge greatly. I've listened to his advice over the years. He's been a great strategist. We had a group called the Power Room, which was... Oh, I
love that. Yeah, you told me about
Yeah, we had about 50 CEOs, and we would brainstorm together. I believe it was every other month. And that created an opportunity for me to think bigger than just Appraisal Nation. And it created, I own gyms. It created the gyms I own. I have a third party company, an outsourcing company. We have all the short term rental companies that we own, long term rental, all the things that we've created came from that think big mindset.
Yes.
And it didn't have to be something
I love
that,
that.
you know, I'm not a gym guy, or I'm not a someone familiar with a certain type of aspect, but yet, you know, it's added that opportunity for me.
There's this book called The Magic of Thinking Big, and it is Mike to the definition of, like, you know, success is all defined by how big you can think. And every time I leave a conversation with Mike, and I truly am a believer that, you know, you are who you surround yourself with. Like, my brain almost hurts after conversations with Mike, like, because my mind is just like, wow, like the way he thinks is just amazing. He's a very
Wow, thank you.
abundant, generous. He has a lot of these principles that a successful person carries. But yeah, it's
I
been such a
appreciate that.
pleasure to have you as a mentor.
Thank
And
you.
as you know, we spoke before of like just enhancing our friendship, which is like the underlining best part of having you as a mentor. So thank you. But I'm also, you know, we're both NPLA members. I recently joined the membership committee within the NPLA, and I just really encourage people, especially if you're in the private lending space, to join. It's an awesome experience, and I just incorporated our Chief Growth Officer Juliet and Chief Operating Officer Sydney. So we're also women in the industry. So at least, you know, if you're a woman, you have us to lean on as well by joining and supporting.
I'll give you.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll give you a fun anecdote. I was talking to Juliet, and we're looking at, they're building a new skyscrapers everywhere here in Austin. And anywhere you see skyscrapers, you know that's a great place to invest. And we're looking at the skyscraper, and she says, I wonder what it costs for one of those condos. And I said, I'm figuring out how to figure out the structure to build the condo itself, how to build the building. Like, I want to know, how do we build and repeat these condo buildings, and how do we find these areas, and what's the term on these projects that can make it repetitive and successful. And I think that you mentioned mindset. You see one person looking at to a unit, and I'm thinking of a building, and to repeat that process. So sharing that with people, I think, can open up a whole new world of how big you can really think.
I love that. Yeah, to end this off with mindset, yeah, I'm a firm believer if you have a positive and strong mindset and can think big, you could truly be successful in whatever you set out to do. Thank you again, Mike, for joining this simple chat.
Thank you.